Welcome to AutoCAD 2D modeling. Today we have a spanner. Okay, so here is your spanner. First thing first, define the reference point. And if you notice that this is a kind of a symmetrical model, but not exactly symmetry to both sides. So we can not prefer to use mirror command actually here, but we have two approaches for this model. So I'll let you know both of them. For the reference point, this is a good coordinate axis to set your reference point here. So rest of the whole model will be on positive x-axis, right? So before proceeding to this, you need to notice one more thing, which is that you have multiple circles, including this radius R15 and this radius R15, and these are two separate circles. Do not confuse them, this whole as one complete circle, because this is not circle at all. This is a kind of an oval shape, right? So you have altogether three circles to complete this oval shape. One circle, the first one, is starting from this vertex of the center polygon. Another circle of radius 15 is starting from the lowest or the downward vertex of the polygon. Afterwards, you have another circle of radius 30, which is actually beginning from the center point of this polygon. This circle is concentric to the polygon. So, first we have to make the polygon, and for polygon, the case here is very much simple because it is provided, the distance is provided from one end of the vertex to the another end, like this. From opposite end of the vertex, the distance is altogether 30. So this is the case of inscribed in a circle. Once the polygon is inscribed in a circle, it means all the vertices are touching the circumference of the circle. So basically, the polygon is inscribed in a circle. And once it is inscribed in a circle, if you have the distance given from the vertex point, or you can say the distance between the opposite vertices are given. So on this reference point, take the polygon with radius 15, because this is the diameter of the circle is altogether 30. So the radius will be 15. And the radius of the circle is actually the distance of the polygon from center point till the circumference of the circle, or you could say the vertex of the circle. So let's go for it. 2D workbench is already here. Just define the units. 2 millimeters. Okay. Next is to take a polygon. It is in the draw panel, polygon, and the number of side, it's a hexagon, so 6. Enter. Center point is reference point actually, so 0, 0. And yes, inscribed in circle with a radius of 15. Enter. There is your polygon. Bring it to the center. Now zoom out as much as you want. Now drag it towards right hand side, because we are first making the right um, part of the spanner. So now this is the time to rotate your polygon so that the sharp edges or vertex of the polygon will be on vertical axis. Exactly. So the green line by default is showing you the vertical y-axis. So now use the rotate command. It is very much here. Once you click, it will ask you to select the object. After selecting, press enter. Now the base point about which you want to rotate is 0 tab 0. And you see, now you can rotate your polygon as much as you want. So this shows you 0 angle. This vertex point where I am uh, tracing my cursor, this vertex point is at 0 degree angle. Once you start rotating, it will increase the angle and you can take it to the 90 degree angle. You see the green line is showing the Pythagoras, the right angle triangle. The green line is completing basically. So you can just randomly type in the angle as 90 degree, and there you go. Your polygon has been rotated in such a way that the vertices, opposite vertices, are at y axis, right? Y reference axis. Next is to draw this circle that is concentric with the polygon with radius of 30. Now quickly go for it, center radius, and you may type in again the reference point 0, 0. Radius is 30, and that's it. Next is to make these two circles. Now, for this, I am giving you a reference here. This will help you to remember where you have to make your circles, right? So let's go clockwise, starting with this or any of the any of the counting you can assign. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So altogether, in a hexagon, you have such 6 vertices. At this point, now you can see you have one circle provided with the center point at vertex number 1. Now skipping vertex number 2, another circle will originate from vertex number 3, like this. So start making these two circles of radius 15 on vertex number 1 and vertex number 3. So this is my vertex number 1. Perfect. So take the radius and trace the intersection point, which is here. Enter, and the radius 15. Enter. Another circle on, skip this vertex number 2 and then come towards vertex number 3. Once you get the intersection part, take this again, and then there you go, intersection, enter, and the radius is again 15, enter. Now you see this complex situation has been appeared on your screen, which you need to immediately trim off the extra parts of circle and polygon so you get this shape of a spanner. So you use the trim command and carefully observe what you have to erase and what is the part of the model. right? So there you go. One end of the spanner has completed like this. Perfect. Next step is to make all these four lines, in, among which two are discontinuous lines, whereas the two are continuous lines and the part of model. The two discontinuous lines are basically the reference line provided for our second part of the spanner so that you can have the reference accesses. Now, carefully observe that if you take this line as first reference line, this one as second, and this is third, and the last one is fourth. This is my convention. You may change your convention. So this is first line. All right. Okay, just like this. So for the first line, if you notice, this reference line is exactly passing through the reference point, this point. Whereas keeping this distance in mind, you can draw easily all four lines. Just take 185 as the length of their lines. So originating from the reference point 0, 0, you only need to draw one straight line on 0-degree angle that is of length 185. So just go for it. For first line, originating from reference point, and the length is supposed to be 185, whereas the angle should be 0-degree. Enter, escape, and immediately convert this line into another color. Now, the next step is to make line number 2. Line number 2 is provided for your reference because where line number 2 will end, the another point of this line will gives you the reference point or the center point for this end, for this whole end. So if you notice that it seems like that both spanners are at equal distance or at equal height, but this is not the case. Why this is so? Because the polygon is not on the same height. But due to the circle, it appears like the spanners are at exactly the same height. Just clearly notice here that at this point where I am placing my cursor, at this point there is no circle, whereas at this end there is a circle. The circle here was modeled at the downward vertex of the polygon, whereas at this end, the downward vertex, there is no circle at all. That is why here you have polygon and then circle. Here you have a circle and then polygon. So this difference is making the difference in the center point of the vertex, basically. So the second reference line will trace you to the center point for the polygon. Now the question is how much downward distance should be covered to make this reference line. So if you notice that this reference line is passing through the vertex number 2 of the polygon. It is basically intersecting exactly vertex number 2. Whereas the third line is intersecting the vertex number 3 in the same way line number 4 is intersecting the vertex number 1. So, using the offset command, you can easily offset these lines for your reference, right? So, 1, 2, 3, all four vertices, on all four vertices, you have to offset your line number 1, right? So, there is your offset command, and keep the offset distance through. Once you keep the distance through, you can easily uh, place your line wherever you want by tracing the line, right? So I repeat, keep the offset distance through so you can easily move your line. Just press enter. I repeat, select the offset command, which is in your modify panel. Now keep the offset distance through, and for that you need to just enter. Now select the object. Once you select the object, you can freely move your line above and below the original line. So just keep on the lines on vertex number 1, vertex number 2, and vertex number 3. These are the height where you need your uh, further 3 lines. So once you get the intersection appeared on your screen, after tracing your line, just click again, do the same. Bring your cursor to vertex number 2. Once it gives you the notification of intersection or endpoint or center point, this is the exact time you need to press enter or click. Now, once again, you can trace any of the line this time. It's up to you. Now, trace vertex number 3. Look, endpoint is appeared on the screen. Now, click, and there you go. But immediately do one thing that after coming out of the offset command, just select these 2 lines and change the color to white because these two uh, outermost lines are your part of the model, right? So we have now all 4 lines. Next step is to come towards this end of the polygon. And as I told you that the center point for the polygon at this end is line number 2. Line number 2 from the distance of the center points are basically 185 is the distance between the center of the polygon and this center of the polygon, right? The two center lines. The distance has been shown by this vertical lines, which both whereas both vertical lines are passing through the center of the polygon. So this is the distance between the polygon. That is 185, and we have already capped the distance of the line or the length of line to 185. It means the endpoint of the line where the line is ending will gives you the center point for the polygon. The condition is it should be line number 2 only. So this is your line number 2, and the endpoint, this point, will gives you the center point for the polygon, right? So coming towards the polygon with 6 sides and center point, now trace endpoint here. I have my cursor on second line and just click. It will ask you to inscribed in a circle. The measurements are exactly same. So inscribed in a circle, whereas the radius is, you see 30 divided by 2, 15. So radius is 15 and enter. Again, you have to repeat all the things. And this time is to rotate the polygon, select object, enter. And now base point is again this endpoint. What is basically we have done We didn't get ourselves confused or indulge into finding out the Cartesian point for this end of the for this center point of the polygon, because we were provided multiple hints giving this length of the line and the number of lines, so we can easily have the end point of the line as the center point of the polygon. So this is very easy. Now give the rotation angle as 90 degree and then enter, and you have your opposite vertices of polygon on y-axis, right? Next is to delete this line because you don't need this anymore. There you go. Next was this angle of radius of 30 degree, which was originating from the center point of the polygon. So you have to repeat this exactly over here. So circle with radius, and this is the center point, which is again the end point of the polygon. So take it as end point, and the radius is 30. Okay, like this. Now you have to carefully notice one thing, that at this point here you have the circles were on vertex number 1 and vertex number 3 previously. But now you have your circles on vertex number 6 and vertex number 4, opposite vertex to the previous one. The opposite vertex to vertex number 1 is vertex number 4. So previously you had circle on vertex number 1. So this time, by default, you will have your circle on vertex number 4. Whereas last time you did have your circle, another one, on vertex number 3. So you see this time you have your circle on vertex number 6. So 6 and 4 vertex this time, where we have this same count for another circle. So just go for it on, and the radius for the two circles are same, that is 15. So come for the circle on vertex number 6 first. Okay, now just see one thing, that you have 2 points at this point, right? One is the vertex point, another one is the end of the line. So if you just zoom in, you will clearly have your point. Zoom in carefully. So it appears like the um, line, the end of the line is touching this point. So now you can go for circle with radius 15. Once endpoint is appear on your screen, and use the radius 15 and enter. Now zoom out according to your range. All right. Now another circle is at vertex number 6. So this is vertex number 1, 2, sorry, vertex number 4 this time. So vertex number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, a line is passing through it. So just zoom in. You can also do one thing, that you can go for these two white lines in the end. So you won't get confused for the center points of the polygon. Sorry, center points of the circle. So endpoint and press 15, type 15 and then enter. Hopefully no line is mixing up when we were modeling the circles. Now immediately use your trim command and trim off the extra lines. Okay, we did it wrong. These are the extra lines. There you go. Now zoom out and zoom in again like this. And trim off the extra lines from here as well and delete this line and trim off these two parts of the line. Now, almost the whole spanner is ready. One thing is left that you have to joint or make a curved connection between this straight line and this part of the circle. So, what you need to do is to first clear the screen and now the radius is provided with 50 here, 50 here for all these four curves. These four curves are very much simple. You can easily go for 10 radius command and use these radius to make this curved end. So here is your 10 radius command. Just trace the tangents like this and specify the radius to 50 like this. Tangent 10. Okay. Before going for it, trim off this part and again go for the command tangent, tangent, and the radius is same 50. Now again tangent, tangent, and same radius 50. Now use trim command. Trim, trim, and trim. One last is left, this end. So same tangent, tangent, and radius 50. Enter, and your spanner is ready. You see how easy it was? Like this. So last step is to define the dimensions, and your spanner is here. So just define all the dimensions. Use the radius command. For this end, dimensions are invisible. So go for dimension style, modify, increase it to 4, 4, and yes, you can make it 3 as well if you want, or 3.5 would be fine. Okay, that's it. Um, Now again the radius here. Now if we can easily trace out the center point, it is not showing the center point, so use this alignment and just give this distance. It is 185 because of this angular part, 185 point something, but uh, it will show you the straight distance, the linear one, that is 185, right? Now, the radius was for this circle, as you see, 15. Now we need to reduce the size to 3 or to 2. And then just define further dimensions. This is radius 15. Actually, the arrow size is reducing here. You need to reduce the text size to 3. Okay, so this is perfect. For further radius, it is 30. And for this endpoint to this endpoint, you see the distance is 30. Any other measurement? If it is left, no, we are done with all of them. So here's your spanner. And as I told you earlier, that we have one more approach to make another end of the spanner. So I'll let you know that what is another approach for this design of the spanner. But You will get the another approach in next video. So see you in the next video. Thank you.